Well, the Education Department wanted every school in the Pilbara to have a chaplaincy service, and Youth Care was asked to provide this. The only way they could see it happening was to have itinerant chaplains, and that's when Shane and I were asked to head up there and live in a caravan and travel from town to town and provide a service to the schools.
So my role was to go as the support chaplain into the schools once we'd signed them up to the program, and before we could find chaplains, I was their support chaplain, and I would go into each school 1 or 2 days a term, depending on how far apart the schools were for us to get to. And in the process of that, find chaplains and help them get through the process to employment. So the result of that is that beginning of last year for first term and beginning of second term last year, I was in 15 schools, and this year I've got 4 schools. So we have applicants in the process now to take on those 4 schools, and so by the end of this term we believe that I'll have 1, perhaps 2 schools left for me to be in out of the original 15 that I started with.
The principals have a real passion for their schools and their communities and each individual child. And some of them were unsure of what chaplaincy was until we came in and spent some time telling stories. Having been a chaplain myself, it's pretty easy to tell stories. So they signed up very quickly and loved having Shane there. And when we've actually found chaplains for them, they've been so excited because they have more of a service. So they have a chaplain in every week now and a couple of days a week. So by the end of last year, all the schools, bar probably 4 or 5, had actually applied for the 2 days a week funding and were able to receive that.
One of the other roles that we do as itinerant chaplains in the Pilbara, as we travel around, we live in a caravan and we move from town to town, and part of our role is in finding the chaplains is visiting all the different churches in our region, and so we can go each time we're in a town, we'll be in a different church to meet new people and to meet different people. And part of that is to sit down and meet with and fellowship with the pastors and their wives. And last year we had 5 pastors who it was their first year in their first posting as pastors of those churches. And so from experiences that we've had as senior pastors of a church plant and associate pastoring, we were able to sit down and still sit with these pastors and encourage them that there will be highs and there will be lows, but if that's what God's called them to do, then that's the best thing for them to be doing.
The exciting thing with chaplaincy is how well received it is in communities with parents and teachers and the students lining up. One of the funny things that happens while Shane was in 15 schools is we'd walk through the shopping centre to do our groceries, and young ones would be, "Hey, Chaplain Shane," and they'd be waving to him, and we've been integrated into every single community in the Pilbara. People know who we are, and that's been rather special after leaving our own community and feeling a little bit lost there for a start. So that's been lovely. It was probably one of the highlights is the kids actually recognising who Shane is, what a chaplain does, and then loving the new chaplains that come into their schools.